Blood for the Blood God, skulls for the Skull Throne. Greetings, Bloodbound warriors and demons of all kinds. Welcome. I am Sigmar's Lorekeeper. Now, before any of you say anything about a delayed video after I said my uploads would be more regular, I have 4 words for you. Shadow of the Erd Tree. Now, my experience getting literally sent to the Shadow Realm aside, we are diving right into another faction focus. And if my superb voice acting didn't give it away for you, today we will be discussing the blood-crazed fanatics of the Blades of Khorne. Now, as we do in this series, let's talk about how the Slaughterers of Khorne got their start in the mortal realms of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. In the Age of Myth, the Chaos Gods took notice of the mortal realms, but couldn't quite get in and start blowing stuff up like they did last time. Every god had their way to slowly infiltrate the mortal realms, though. Slaanesh made people horny, Nurgle invented the Big Mac, so on and so forth. And Khorne is no different. You know, Sigmar did not achieve his peaceful realm-wide kingdom through pacifistic means. He conquered through war, destroying barbarian warbands and orcs all over. This violence feeds into Khorne's domain, empowers him. Woodland tribes that venerate the skulls of their latest kills give him even more power. His influence began to slowly creep into the realms, creeping into the minds of ambitious nobles and leading them to cause wars to grow territory or settle small feuds like whose hat is the biggest. The armies of the Blood God are comprised mostly of mortals who have pledged their souls in eternal servitude to Khorne, as well as a healthy mixture of demonic forces hailed directly from his realm. Today, however, we'll be focusing more on the mortal side of things since I do want to do a dedicated video about Khorne and his fellow Chaos Gods. When it comes to Chaos, all roads lead to the same place: ruin. Everything was reaching a tipping point too. Khorne just needed a little more rampant murder and bloodshed to really get things going. Introducing a very jolly individual known as Threx Skullbrand, who threw a little get-together for all the major warlords and clans in Akshi, coming from all over to revel in glorious combat. There was a little-known warlord, definitely won't be important later on, named Khorne, and he came too. And oh boy did he put on a show, slaughtering dozens upon dozens of the best warriors each clan could muster. He was having a grand old time, but Threx wasn't as forthcoming as everyone thought. Unusual for a follower of the god of stabbing you in the front, I know. He had this secret ritual planned to finally bring the Lord of Blood into the mortal realms. And upon cool slaughtering the 888th poor fool who had to face him, 8 is Khorne's sacred number, a rift in the nearby realm gate shattered open, and the blood legions of Khorne spread forth into the realms in gory delight. And thus began Khorne's rampage in the mortal realms, and thus began the Age of Chaos. You see, those roving warbands were mostly not followers of Khorne directly, just clans under his influence, not even knowing who was giving them their insatiable lust for carnage. But now, the cat is out of the bag. His hosts of demons were rampaging through the realms, slaughtering all but those that swore eternal servitude to their dark master. This was the beginning of the Bloodbound warriors of Khorne. Now, there are plenty of reasons your average Joe would damn their soul to eternal battle and bloodshed. Not reasons that me and you would understand, per se, but there are plenty of reasons. There is always the standard Warhammer reason people turn from Sigmar's holy light: power. But there's a more cornate reason about this time: bloodshed, war, and battle. There are many in the mortal realms that crave these things. Some are still a bit addicted to it after the endless wars and the closing of the Age of Myth and the start of the Age of Chaos. And some are just sick in the head and want to kill. No fancy reason required. There are a few, though, who had more noble intentions to start out with, asking for strength to defend their homes and loved ones from the Chaos hordes, and they received it. Not knowing, however, that the source of this divine aid was from the very forces they fought against, being corrupted to crave only violence. Unlike the past few factions we've talked about so far, the Age of Chaos was a paradise for the Blades of Khorne. Slaughter, bloodshed, and viscera as far as the eye could see. Perfect for a follower of the Blood God. Hordes of Bloodbound were unleashed upon all 8 realms, following the defeat of Sigmar's armies at the Battle of the Burning Skies. Armies rampaged through Camon, stealing so many precious metals that they could fuel the armaments of the Blood Legions for a century. But the incursion started in Akshi, and so Akshi was to be claimed for the Skull Throne. Tens of thousands of skulls were collected, and most of the realm was turned to ruin. At the head of these endless hordes was Khorne, ravaging the lands, claiming more skulls, and spilling more blood than any other. He is a very cool figure, and I would love to talk about him in depth someday, especially his rivalry with my beloved Vandus Hammerhand. Entire civilizations were laid to ash. The entire magma hold of Zomdar Lodge was destroyed. The entire bloodline of House Zomdar was ended in a day. All of Akshi is functionally brought under the heel of the Blood Legions. The tiny fragments of order that have survived are in a constant chase being pursued by blood-crazed cannibals. Some parts of the realm have been drenched in so much gore and blood that they resemble Khorne's realm more than its original state. Okay, I need a little break. I guess it's fitting for a Khorne video, but holy crap have I said blood so many times in just a few minutes. I'd challenge you to take a shot every time I say blood or gore for the rest of the video. Where were we? Yes, okay, just closing out the Age of Chaos. Well, we are doing a bit of a spin on how these faction focuses usually go, because entering the Age of Sigmar, things are only gonna get worse for our quirky little cannibals. Khorgos was personally leading his Gore Tide to look for the next massive battle, one that would give him the chance to prove to Khorne that he was worth ascension to demonhood. Problem is, they already brought every army and kingdom to ash. Not really the most forward-thinking this cool guy. But then one night, thunder. Luckily for him, or unluckily in the end, an entire army of gleaming golden soldiers taller than any man in the realms just exploded into existence right in front of his army. No, seriously, this is one of the funniest coincidences in the Age of Sigmar lore. The big bad warlord looking for a fight has an entire army delivered to his footstep. To keep things short, since this starts to infringe a bit on the Realm Gate Wars, the Khornate forces took quite the beating. They weren't actually expecting a challenge this time, and even though it was close at one point, they got sent running with their tails between their legs back to Daddy Khorne. Even more maddening to the Lord of Battles, these new soldiers dissolve and explode into lightning upon death, denying him the skulls that he craves. Definitely a kick in the balls for the angriest god around. This was just the first of hundreds of battles, and Sigmar's initial assault spurred the rest of the realms into action. Bloodbound hosts are lost to the Seraphon in the jungles. Kharadron warships rain fire down, not even letting Khorne warriors sink their axes and blades into them. Now this might sound bad for the best Chaos God. I will have no talks of Slaanesh in my comment section. But while the legions of Bloodbound and demons are pushed back on all fronts, don't forget, fellow lore buffs, Khorne does not care from whence the blood flows, only that it flows. These battles, while weakening the armies of Khorne, did nothing but strengthen him. As I said a little bit earlier, Khorne's forces are comprised of mortal followers known as the Bloodbound and the demonic Blood Legions. While they are all followers of the Lord of Battles, they have different philosophies, if you could call it that. I mean, they're all bloodthirsty murderers, but they do have different approaches to how they artfully spill the blood and eat flesh. There are 3 predominant tribes among the Bloodbound, and why don't we start with the one led by Khorgos Khul, the man with the biggest biceps in the mortal realms himself, the Gore Tide. The most numerous of all of Khorne's chosen, the Gore Tide are a horror story to the denizens of Akshi and beyond. They are a nightmare to all in the Great Parch. Even the land itself has scars from their battles. Oceans permanently stained with blood, mountains of skulls to rival the Himalayas. They are conquerors, felling entire kingdoms left and right. And if they don't kill you, they offer you a choice. Be fed to the horde, or feast on your comrades and shine in Khorne's grace. Easy choice, right? Now, if you thought things were going to get better, I am terribly sorry to say they're just as shitty with the rest of the sub-factions. The Flayed. I wonder where they got that name. As the resident religious zealots of the bunch, remember when I said there always is one, the Flayed clad themselves in armor made of the bones of their victims, etched with runes that glow and grant them powers the more blood stains their armor. Their fellow Bloodbound actually don't like them that much, since the rumor is they started amongst the numbers of the Everchosen. And those runes, their fellow blood warriors think they're filthy magic. And one thing that's important to know about Khorne, he don't like no magic. But in reality, these runes are just the Slaughter Priest's method of gaining favor from their one and only god. Slaughter Priests and Realm Gore ritualists lead these forces, dedicating all their prayers to the Blood God. And now for my personal favorite, and what I run for my army. Yes, I have 4 armies, do not judge me. The Skull Fiend Tribe. If the name didn't give it away, they like skulls. And oh boy, do they take them in droves. They ride mighty juggernauts in a stampede of brass and steel, doing drive-bys and decapitating hundreds of their enemies in one fell swoop. Thousands of mounted warriors bulldoze their way through the battlefield, splitting spines and mounting as many skulls as they can on their saddlebags. You gotta respect the classics. Every host is led by mounted lords of Khorne, eyeing the most powerful opponent, since the Skullfiend tribe prizes the skull of the mightiest hero or monster. There are many other mortal legions of Khorne, but these are the most prominent and powerful. But let's take a little journey to hell. The first and most powerful of the demonic forces are the Baleful Lords. If you like giant fuck-off angry demons with wings, Welcome to the Baleful Lords. Reinforced by more bloodthirsters than any other blood legion, they are Khorne's personal legion he sends to fight his wars in the realm of chaos. But when they're good boys, he allows them to enter the mortal realms and wreak as much havoc as they possibly can before being recalled back to fight the next war. Clad in midnight black armor, if you see a Baleful Lord on the battlefield, you might as well sing every prayer you can because you are having your skull taken. The Bloodlords, on the other hand, think themselves Khorne's favored legion, and they have definitely cut a bloody swath through Gur. For centuries, they rampage through the realm, cutting down countless massive beasts and offering their skulls to their Dark Master. They are responsible for the destruction of 12 great Auric war clans, and Orcs don't mess around, and with all these massive victories, Khorne allowed them to pick the targets of their battles. They're gloriously efficient at what they do, and like the Skull Fiends, take pride in reaping only the most worthy of skulls. Speaking of reaping, we come to our final Blood Legion, the Reapers of Vengeance. If you've pissed off the Blood God for any reason, this is who's coming for you. They are sent to teach a lesson to any who have drawn Khorne's ire. This usually ends up with them fighting Slaaneish's forces, since Khorne only hates one thing more than magic users, and that's thirst traps. The Reapers of Vengeance aren't known for employing any particular tactic or type of unit, just their incessant aggression and rage, even for Khornate demons. And they will deliver this rage and violence to whoever their master points them at like a rabid dog. Damn, that was a lot of blood. I can probably go without hearing the word blood for like a month or two. But the blood must always flow. Let me know which of the Blood Legions draws your attention the most. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to keep seeing more videos on the Mortal Realms. As always, I would love to hear any thoughts or requests, so comment away. Now that's all I have for today though. I am Sigmar's Lorekeeper. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.